Welcome back, Ronin Renegades. I am Lupine Fiasco. This is Daily FaB Gameplay, and today we are playing FaB against Prism. For anyone who is new to the channel, welcome to the Resistance. What we do here is review replays of games that I played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed, that I lose my bias, and can more objectively judge the quality of my play. I will talk through turn cycles and give my thoughts on the line I would take now, and compare that to the line I took then at the time of recording. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future, to take down paper events like the upcoming Calling Los Angeles, and most importantly, walk away with that shiny cardboard. If you would like to check out the list I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, there is a FaB deck link in the video description below. While you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. A YouTube subscription is the best free way to support me and to make sure that you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. The best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you access to the DFG Discord. At higher tiers, your name will appear in every DFG video. You'll get bonus DFG content every week, and there are even more benefits to come. Daily FaB gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can afford to patronize me, I truly appreciate it. Let's talk about our sideboard and about the Prism game plan. Having won the die roll, we are going to choose to go second. That is going to give us the option to hopefully block some heralds on turn 1. The Prism game is much more of a race than it ever was pre-3 Luminaris. New Luminaris. Just very strong for offense. Herald, Angel, Herald is something that FaB has a lot of trouble dealing with. We don't block well, and when all of Prism's attacks are coming for 6 or 7, that's a huge issue for us. And when those attacks that hit also find what are effectively sink belows that just sit on the battlefield until they're ready to be popped, that's bad for us too. This is a race. There's no way to get around that. We are playing our Flamescale Furnace so that we can hopefully 2-card block a Herald of Erudition with Furnace and a 3 block from hand. That said, Prisms are running Angelic Wrath and Goliath Gauntlet, so even then it's unlikely that we will be able to block Erudition. This is a race. We need to get lucky. We need Prism to have some clunky draws. We need Prism to have non-blocks when she needs to be able to defend, and her deck does have quite a lot of non-blocks in it. We just need them to show up at the right time, and if Prism is pitch stacking correctly and not shuffling her deck with Halo of Illumination, then she should not be having those non-blocks at critical moments, and that can be tough for us too. Speaking of Halo of Illumination, as long as it exists on the field, your Mask of the Pouncing Lynx does not, and vice versa. Prism will use her Halo to find a Figment of Judgment as a response to us using Mask of the Pouncing Lynx to tutor a finisher. Figment of Judgment turns our card in Banish face down so that we cannot play it on that turn. However, as long as Pouncing Lynx exists, Prism can't use Halo to aggressively find a Figment of Erudition. So she is losing offensive capability, we are losing offensive capability. Neither player starts with a head, but we start 8 points up on life, and we're going to hope that that is enough to get us to the finish line. So let's, very briefly, why am I not running CNC? Because we only have 2 of them, we're very unlikely to draw them at opportune moments. And if we do draw them without the ability to defend and pop something, then it can just be clunky. A lot of the time, Prism is going to tuck an Aura or a Tome of Divinity into her arsenal, which she can play at instant speed to dodge our CNC effect anyway. It just very often is clunky and is very unlikely to do the thing we would be playing it to do. So we leave it in the sideboard. We keep our tenacities, which block for 3, pitch for Emberblade, potentially become very good on offense if Prism is in panic mode and having to defend with cards from hand. So that's why we aren't playing CNCs. Let's ready up, submit deck, and see if we can put Prism back to sleep. We draw into a fine hand, but unfortunately not one that can adequately defend, dominate. So we could put our Lava Vein Loyalty and Flamescale Furnace in front of Tenacity here. I don't like doing that. I don't like that Prism gets to just find Figment of Erudition, but I also don't like giving up our only singular way to block Herald of Erudition later on. Well, second Herald of Erudition, considering that Prism is on Goliath Gauntlet. Prism follows up with Library, which is terrible for us because as long as Prism has 2 yellow stripe pitch cards in pitch, she just gets to draw an extra card every turn. And if you haven't seen the way that Prism's deck is constructed, that happens very frequently. So we are definitely in some trouble. There's nothing to do with this hand besides just send it. Everything costs 0. 3 of the 4 cards are red, so let's just go. I would expect Prism to be blocking with any of her 6 cards. The fact that she isn't makes me think that we're really in some danger, that we're going to take a bunch of damage on our turn and have nothing we can do about it. But, we're going to wait for that to happen. The difference between playing Yellow Brand and pitching it to Emberblade really is the break point. The difference between sending 3 and 1 compared to 2 and 2 is that Prism has a lot of 3 blocks in her deck. So if we send 3-1, she can block the Emberblade with a single card, then take 1 point of damage from the Phoenix Flame. Whereas if we send 2 and 2, it's a lot harder for her to get good defensive value out of those 3 blocks. Either she is going to use 2 3 blocks to block 2 2-power attacks, or she will use the same 1 3 block on the Brand, then take 2 from Phoenix Flame. Snatch hits. We don't blind snap. We do draw a Lava Burst, which we put into Arsenal. Goliath Gauntlet here is scary. It means that we are getting hit with Herald of Erudition. Without having a 3 block in hand, we are incapable of stopping this unless we give all of our armor, which we will not do. We're just gonna hope for the best. Prism off to a very strong start this turn. She has 1 yellow pitch in her pitch zone, which puts her in a good place to draw from Library. We see first Tome of Divinity of a single card thanks to Vestige of Soul. Prism activating to flip not the Angel I would have expected. A Triumph Angel is going to reduce our offensive capabilities. That said, we do have an Art of War to offset. That Art of War is also why we aren't blocking this turn, as we need our red Brand to start the chain. We need a blue pitch to get the most value out of our Art of War. And we need a 4th card in hand to banish to the Art of War. Prism just keeps going. And for all of my Prism players out there, you can tell me if this is a good turn from her or not. Aggressively breaking Halo for literally anything that isn't Figment of Erudition seems like a mistake. Breaking it aggressively at all seems like a mistake. But also the fact that Prism is playing all of these Figments, I don't know if she just drew very poorly and this was bad luck that she had all the Figments to play. Not pitching any of them seems like a mistake to me, because even with 7 cards in her pitch zone, Prism only has 1 yellow in there, so she isn't going to get to draw off of Library. We take 18 damage and Prism gets a million Figments. But okay. She had a 10 card hand throughout that entire turn? To me, this just seems like, alright, pitch your Figments. You're gonna find them later. I'm still not blocking Heralds. Prism choosing not to block the Brand with Cinderclaw is very likely correct. That said, it is going to punish her, as her 2 Spectral Shields are not going to protect her from a 3-power Brand. We are going to get the Angel, which is great news for us. Between attacking with Emberblade or mounting Anger Spreading Flames, we're just sending our 1 costs. If Mounting Anger hits, then we get to banish Spreading Flames. If Mounting Anger doesn't hit, it still gets a card out of Prism's hand. If Mounting Anger does hit, we are going to banish our Spreading Flames. We can also think about whether we are going to grab a finisher with Pouncing Lynx. Halo is off the table, so Pouncing Lynx does exist. Seeming like yes. Let's just grab it now. I am playing around Arclight Sentinel, punishing our Pouncing Lynx. That said, I feel like Prism would have played the ALS if she had it. So the fact that she hasn't played an Arclight, isn't defending, makes me feel like now is the time to grab Lava Burst. If we lose our finisher and our Pouncing Lynx because of an Arclight, we've done enough on this turn. That basically takes Prism's hand, and we get to keep Lava Burst in Arsenal. So let's snap. We will see Prism presumably going to 3. Banishing a card from Soul, paying to flip a Figment is terrible. Tiger Stripe Shuko has a second line of text, which is that the damage dealt by your attack is unpreventable, which means that Ward doesn't work. But not only does Ward fail to prevent the damage, it still sacrifices itself to try. So in this case, this Angel is going to see Prism take damage, is going to say, I need to destroy myself to prevent that damage. Tiger Stripe Shuko will say, no, you can't, and Prism will still take 7. So this is absolutely brutal for Prism. Taking the 7 there would have been correct, then using the Angel to stop the second Lava Burst that is not buffed by Shuko. As it is, we just put Prism to 2 and eat an Angel, and we're doing okay. So we need to decide whether we want to block this Herald. We can with a Furnace and a 3 block from hand. Alternatively, we can also just keep 4 cards and try to kill Prism. She's pulled 6 Figments out of her deck at this point. I'm assuming there aren't any more in there. At the same time, even if there is a Figment, it isn't one of the good ones, so why do I care? She does get another card into her Soul, which would let her flip and attack with an Angel, but considering the cards we have available for offense, I don't think she's ever going to get to do that. So let's just take 5. On our turn, we will send Phoenix Flame for 0, Lava Vein Loyalty for 3, Emberblade for 3, pick up second Phoenix Flame from discard, and bottom it to E-Strike for 7. This is unlikely to kill Prism, by the way. She can give a card to stop Lava Vein Loyalty, a card to stop Emberblade, then a card to flip Angel and block with the 4th card as well. That said, we are keeping Prism off of cards entirely, which is fine for us. If we can just strip her hand every turn, that's great. Eventually, we will be able to go wider than she can block, or she is going to draw any number of non-blocks and die. So we are perfectly content to just keep her on the back foot. And if this was our turn cycle every turn, eventually she's going to run out of Figments. 4 cards in Soul. She only has 1 card left in Soul. She can only flip 1 more Figment. This hand is fine. We are going to try to take advantage of Shuko the same way we did previously. Ronin Renegade gets a card. Searing Emberblade gets a card. Phoenix Flame very likely does not get a card. Phoenix Flame very likely takes Prism to 1. Then Salt Balloon for 4 unpreventable either gets 2 cards from Prism's hand or kills her. In this case, Prism did have to filter some non-blocks out of hand, so she will be unable to stop Salt Balloon for 4. She cannot block, unless she draws a Sink Below, but instead drawing a Pummel, so we get there. So that's the game. It's kind of what we're hoping to do in the FaB Prism matchup. We need to go faster than she can. We need her to either brick or misplay or be suboptimal on her big double tome turn. That was gross. I think that she could have sequenced it better to at least get 2 yellow pitch cards into her pitch zone to draw an extra card at the end of the turn. It does look like she drew kind of poorly, but I don't play Prism, so I can't speak to that. To me, it just... putting that many figments down on the table when you have the ability to tutor them later anyway, just seems like, just pitch your figments. You don't need to play them. And certainly don't flip the Triumph Angel, flip the Erudition Angel and draw cards. But that's just my take. Hopefully the Prism players out there can tell me why I'm wrong. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If so, be sure to head jab that like button. My comments are always open for any questions or feedback. Again, if you've not already done so, please consider a YouTube subscription. It's free. It helps me out. But no matter what you do, I will see you back here next week for more daily FaB gameplay. And until then, take care.